22nd. And Whinkup's pace is still
very good.
Fairly strong.
Very good.
5:57s. This is Rick and Craig fighting. That's Whincup going on through. So he's put car 15 down 1 lap. Of course, Whincup, that time around 57.9. So that was 2/10 slower. But of course, he had to pass the car.
And Rick won't be too bothered about that as long as there's not a safety car right now.
Yeah.
He won't be too bothered about that based on getting that lap back at some stage when the stops all materialise. So here we go with a good, solid performance. He's driving it very straight. Whinkup's consistency has been fantastic. They've been talking to him over the radio. Great consistent driving is what the message has been. If you look at the body language, we often talk about the body language of the car. You've got to look at how much it's sliding, how much of the effort that he's putting in. Is he working the car hard to achieve the lap speed? At the moment, he's not.
So on board with Jamie, and if you look carefully, that car that's in the distance halfway down pit straight is actually his teammate, Craig Lowndes. So he's got a lot of work to do. There's Craig disappearing past the A-pillar on the right-hand side. And the first car in the queue that's done the stop at this point is Will Davison. So that's actually been quite a good stop for those and a good sequence because he's clear of Craig Lowndes. This is heading up the top of the hill, turn 5.
It's the exit curve that Neil was referring to there. You can see the car vibrating and the load coming back through the car, the amount of force on the left-hand front tyre. And that force on that left-hand front tyre will not be anywhere near like we saw at Phillip Island. The grip level here is much lower. The cars slide around a lot more. Heavy braking area, heaviest braking area in Australia. Turn it, get it turned in, stay off the throttle, nice and gentle on the throttle. Don't use too much of the exit curve. It's a very, very difficult circuit to keep the car flowing nicely. Last lap, Jamie Whincup, 57.98. Todd Kelly, the next guy on a sprint tyre, 58.62. So 7/10 of a second faster than Todd.
Look how quickly Jamie has got to his teammate here because Craig's tucked up there with Jack Perkins at the moment, so he's still making big gain on him.
Have a look at this for a dive.
And that no problem that you heard from Craig, that'll be to alert him to Jamie's presence.
You could just tell that one was coming, couldn't you? Just from...
And they're bringing Jamie in this lap, so expect car number 1 to peel off at the bottom of the hill here.
Just needs to not get caught with Jack Perkins when he does it. Well, here we go. That's the way to do it. If you pass both blokes under brakes,
yep.
Then you
Car is entering pit lane now.
It
doesn't typically happen though.
In pit lane.
So he's managed to do 20
Right,
laps.
up. Got you there.
On the sprint tyre.
Lights off. We're doing 4 tyres and fuel.
So Todd Kelly leads the
Nice and
race.
steady to the box. Stop on the hog. No traffic.
That's a key phrase, no traffic. And we'll watch where Whincup pops out relative to Will Davison.
We've given you a little bit of a tweak there at the rear roll centre. Clear to go. All yours.
Watch out, you'll be coming out behind Sander and in front of Engel.
He's miles in front of him. So Will Davison's just in the braking area there at turn 7, so that's the margin.
And that's what 13 extra laps on the sprint tyre does.
Yeah, so that's pretty telling. And that, frankly, is a bit surprising. I didn't think they'd get that level of performance, which you said this yesterday. We were prophets of doom saying, no, they'd wear faster.
Yep. 20 laps is a lot longer than I thought they would do, especially at the lap time that he was achieving.
Well, it's interesting tyre strategy for Greg Murphy. He came in, stayed on the sprint tyre, but they took the left rear off and swapped it over the right front. So they're sort of diagonally swapping them over. And if I remember right, that's a strategy that worked for Mark Winterbottom earlier in the year as well.
Now it's game on here into turn 7. We're on with Jamie Whincup, and he's rattling on the bumper of Garth Tander, who is clearly...
Sander in front. Caution with Sander in front.
He's clearly not in a hurry to let him go by. And both of them have got to be careful how they manage this. because everybody could burst into tears if you get this wrong.
Drive smart, mate, drive smart. We all know what he's doing. You just have to drive smarter and better, mate. Safely past him when it is safe. Big caution, mate.
That wasn't too cautious over the run through 5.
Sometimes with that one, Aaron, you can't see where the corner is, because when you're tucked up right behind the car in front, here we go. Now, he's got to give him room on the straight, which he has now. So he's got much better drive coming out of Kolb or out of turn 6, and here we go down the straight. So this is a bit out of control.
Garth's not going to give it away, but he's got it now. Jamie's going to gap. This is 4th.
He's going to try and cross him. I think fundamentally Jamie's got speed on him at the moment. Obviously got young tyres on the car. Todd Kelly now in the pit lane.
Garth's going to give him a bit of a run. Reynolds is now the leader in the Bundy Red Commodore. 28 seconds clear of the controlled tyre, Stephen Johnson.
A couple of interesting little strategies down on pit lane. I think they're going to make a crack of an end to this race. Greg Murphy pulled his diagonal his sprint tyres, so he's put his left rear on his right front and vice versa. Mark Winterbottom has just come in and put his sprint tyres on. I reckon those guys have had a look at Jamie Whincup, have seen that that tyre will do 20 laps successfully around here, and said, hey, let's go for the end of the race.
Have a look at this.
Yeah, I reckon
this is on the straight, and the cars are actually overlapped.
I'd be surprised if that doesn't attract a bit of interest in race control, and for Garth, I think that's right on the very limit of tolerance.
And this is the spot after turn 5 that Jamie doesn't know where the edge of the road is. So when you pop out the other side, and if the guy in front has used every bit of road and you go wider, then you end up in the dirt. So very lucky to get away with that one again.
And Jamie's bolted now. Certainly while the tyres are still fresh in the early couple of laps, that may change a few laps away from now, but at the point where he's racing, Garth, he certainly had some pace.
Reynolds is staying out there. 23 laps on the sprint tyre. Whincup is second in the race. Then Tander and Ingle.
And Johnson's come in together with Paul Dumbrell. So interesting, lots of people staging their moment to come in because they know how vitally important elbow room is in the pit lane here.
We'll just have a look for lap times. Dave Reynolds, a 58.5 on that lap, still on the sprint tyre. There's only 2 guys in the field still on that tyre, Greg Murphy and David Reynolds. So let's just have a look at that lap time. When Jamie Whincup when he completes this lap, we'll get a good feel for the fastest guy on the control tyre at this part of the race. And it's a 58.77, so still the control tyre is slightly slower, even in a much fresher condition than the sprint tyre at this point of the race.
4 cars in now. Tander, Ingle, Bright, Coulthard.
Now the Tander Ingle one will be interesting stops because they come in right together on the track. Good stop there by Toll HRT. Let's just have a look at what that does compared to Russell Ingle.